This is Coffee with Karina. And here's your host, Karina Michelle.
First of all, I'm so excited to have you guys on. You're two of my favorite casting directors, as you know, I'm sure, and two of the most fun as well. You guys are a blast, even at Gasparilla. I know we had a lot of fun at that party.
And you guys, most fun running into you like literally anywhere, but go ahead.
Well, it's a treat to see you there. But now it's Sunscreen this weekend. So I know you're kind of squeezing in this interview today because you're going to be busy with that tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, Friday.
Yeah, I'm giving a workshop. It should be really nice. There'll be Q&As. And you know what? Those Q&As are going to be on my socials. So yeah, if you're not here, you're not missing anything. You'll still get to see it later.
How did you guys get into the casting business? Because I always wonder this. Is it something that you were, you always wanted to be, or was it kind of a fluke? How did that happen?
You start, Kimberly.
Well, I feel like we're a little too old to be seasoned to be people who, it's something you wanted to do. I just don't know that it was really a publicized job when I got started. As a theater major, I accidentally interviewed at a casting company for a job and then got hired. And that was my introduction to casting. Now, with my focus in college as a theater major being directing, it was really fantastic to fall into a job where I was able to work with actors immediately and then to be directing them in all of the sessions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I couldn't agree more with your, I don't know if it was a thing, but it certainly wasn't in my thought process. I did like editorial, I would cast the talent, I would write the article, like all of the things, do the makeup, find the clothes, whatever. I was a fashion gal. And then I went into advertising, and I always found and enjoyed talent. And honestly, I mean, my story is kind of simple in that there was a mean casting director here, and a talent agent sat there and said to me, she's so mean. I think you'd be great at casting. And I figured it out like the next day, as we always do, Karina, with figuring out, well, now we're podcasters. Now we're this. Now
hey, it happened to me too. I don't know how. There you go. But yeah,
it's a creative mind at work, though, right? It's just how we roll. Let's do this now. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because even about as far as producers go, like when I started, people always like, when did you always want to do it? And I'm like, well, there really weren't many women producers.
Oh, no. I worked on movies and it was always
5 years ago or even longer. It's so different now. So,
and that's every profession. I literally was talking to a female doctor, and she's like, I don't want to be known as the woman in the room. I want to be known as a good doctor. And I think that's probably how we all approached our jobs. It's like, we're just here. We're doing our thing.
And I always say with that comment, just bring another chair to the table. Don't assume that there's only one chair for the ladies. Just bring a few more and a few more.
Yeah, completely agree. Okay. What?
Yeah, all by accident.
All by accident.
Short answer. The long answers are great.
The best things happen too, But I know a lot has changed, right, since COVID. So explain that to me. Like, what was that like? Because I know what it was like being on the other side, but what was it like for you guys?
So Kimberly and I are both in the diaspora of casting directors. We're outside of Los Angeles or New York. And so for me, this self-tape thing I've been doing this for years because the talent are not here in my backyard to come to in-person castings. That would be just for Florida commercials or Florida projects, right? They would come for like 5 hours driving each way to see me for 5 minutes. I never liked it. So I knew a lot about self-tapes, and going into COVID, that's what everybody had to go to because, we're a kissing industry and COVID was uniquely bad for that. So
that's so funny. It's so true. Yeah.
Right. So we figured all that out. And, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was like a leader in this space because I knew the technology, right? So, and then as we were bored in COVID, we got together on this audio only app that exploded during COVID, particularly in our industry. A lot of people came in, and that's where Kimberly and I met on this Clubhouse app, which,
We love new technology.
we do. We do. We just kind of glom on to anything new and shiny. And we enjoyed each other and all the other casting directors, all the other panelists on Casting Confidential and others, and made great relationships. And then that exploded to what is now the Casting Confidential podcast. And here we are.
I remember that. Wait, it's coming back to me. A lot of people were jumping on there. I remember it's like speakers, right? Isn't that what it was? Like when you'd be in a room or
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was like, I don't know, there was like this room and and once again, we kind of figured it out, and I made this
to each other, which I think, to your point that you were asking, that it's changed over time. And what that changed for us is casting directors were often just the lone ranger out there on their own, and not necessarily collaborating with each other. And so the self-tapes had been there before COVID in some markets like Atlanta, very prevalent. But in DC, being close enough to New York, people were still auditioning. But the occasional, if you couldn't make it to an audition, this video option was literally an option. But it was, to me, very scary at first. The first time I ever accepted, I thought, okay, I'll allow the tape to go through. But when she comes to callbacks, if she's crazy, then, I will dissuade them from hiring her because you didn't know the person. But it really was a game changer that we could now collaborate with each other as casting directors. We knew each other from Clubhouse, and we're now working together. But the self-tapes, new lease on life for everyone, and particularly actors. I mean, Rose and I just last week were talking that in casting a commercial, you only could see so many people. There was only so many days and only so many spots during business hours. Even if you expanded your business hours from 8 to 6 or 7, you still could only see so many humans. And now you can receive, for days and days and days, all of the videotapes. So we're actually doing more work and seeing more actors than we ever did without the
And we watch all the tapes.
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Apparently they don't with the Oscars, by the way. Let's just discuss
that. Exactly. That was a new thing. If you don't watch everything, you can't vote anymore. So.
No, and that's news that they need to watch the movies in order to vote on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard the same thing. It's a little skewed. What are you going to do? So it's funny because for me, it changed a lot because I was in LA for a long time. And then when I started back up, which was a couple of years ago, kind of close to when we were doing Christmas couples retreat, I was like, this is so great. I can now do auditions again. But I think it's very scary to a lot of actors because they're not producers. They're not directors. Now they have this camera they have to set up and lighting and mics. And, how much of that, it's like you have to be all these things now just to do an audition and be an actor, right? So,
such a great question because, we don't care. We need to see you and hear you. Yep. So you see, like, my light is not perfect in my glasses. I'm not going to care about that if you're auditioning. Apparently, I don't care about it on a podcast, but I try. But do the best you can, right? Kimberly, your light looks good.
Which I agree with you. I think do the best you can. But if it's too dark and we can't hear you well, it's hard to put that audition forward. And also just having a simple background. If it's either your plain wall, take a picture off, just so that your background is not competing with everybody else's non-existent background or just a simple backdrop.
Gonna save you time and money.
Yeah.
Google it. Listen to all the podcasts. There's so much information out there, and I am saying under $200, you are fully set up in a maybe 8x8 space. It doesn't have to be that big.
And nobody's expecting for you to be in a large space. If it's going to get to that, that's going to be
I've noticed that, especially like on callbacks, you'll see like the other person, and they're in like a full-fledged studio. And I'm like, geez, I'm in like my,
that is not going to get you the job. I'm going to tell you right now.
But I thought I'm just going to ask anyway. Once in a while, I'm like, am I just not doing it?
No, as I always say, the best storyteller wins the job. It's not really about the technology. Now, you do have to hope that the recipients of your tapes understand the technology, because on an independent project I was working on, that I happened to be the director, I was going to act as a director and only watch what was put forward for me to watch, but I couldn't help myself because my casting director hat creeped on very loudly. Well, I watched all of the tapes, and one of the people I put on my list of people I wanted to see, no one else had, because his sound wasn't great on the tape. So again, depending who's it, which is why, although on one account it didn't matter because I listened to it and I knew he was great and I was happy.
But you might not have.
Anyway, but 5 people who were on the team who were doing the selects prior to the director, me seeing them, the reduced list, I wouldn't have seen him. So again, I shared with them that you really shouldn't be penalizing people because of audio, because actors are not technicians.
Right. They're not.
So we're putting you into the technology space, but you shouldn't be penalized if it's not perfect.
Yeah. And I'll ask for another tape if I can't hear them. If there's time, we'll get a different read. We're here for you. You are the answer to our problem. We are watching the tapes. I don't know why this whole thing between actors and casting with the self-tape has come to this thing where you guys just hate on us.
Yeah, it's not us against them. I remind people that it's like we're on a tennis team and we're doubles partners. The direct producers are on the other side of the net and we're with you getting the ball over.
It's like net. You're on our side. We're each on each other's side. We're there to help.
We are. Please, please. This is all we need to say is we're here. You're the answer. This is the job we're
We can't do the job without the actors. I mean, if we don't have actors submitting and finding great tapes, we have nothing to put forward.
We want you to succeed.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah. I mean, we spend copious hours trying to get this information out, and you guys the actors just need to listen and ask questions. We're here for all the things. And we want you to succeed. We really do.
Yeah. How about, I looked online actually, and I saw like a big question, and this made sense to me. What's a good way to get your audition to stand out? If you guys are watching, 50 or whatever, do something weird, especially like for newer actors coming in, and I've seen it too when we've been producing stuff. It's like full costume or props. I'm like, oh God, you know what? I'm sure you guys have seen it, right?
Well, and you need to know your casting director on that prop situation, because some casting directors are anti props. Some are props, some are pro props. So you really need to know the casting director on the prop situation.
Yeah, but just don't do it. Don't do anything bigger than a cell phone, a
small notepad, a file folder. I mean, it should be something that doesn't steal focus.
Yeah. But
do a good job. Yeah. Do a good read. That's it.
Great storytelling is what's going to do it. And I think getting to great storytelling is the specificity of choices, so that you're really leaning into something specific. Not, if I go kind of gray with it, maybe that'll be what they're looking for, but being very specific, because it's better to be very specific and focused and very interesting storytelling, even if it's wrong for the end result, because you're going to be seen as a good storyteller. And then you'll be brought to callbacks and be given redirects by the director or the casting director, so that they
That's what stands out.
Yeah, good acting. What stands out.
I think, right, exactly. And that's the other thing. Before I forget about this, do you mind if people get in touch with you? Because before you could send like these cards, right? Years ago, people would send. Do you remember that?
Right. Cards with photos. Yes.
That's how you kind of see in their minds. Like, what do people? I don't even know. I don't do anything. But what do people do now? I guess is my
Kimberly and I are very different. First of all, the cards. There's a new product called Industry Inbox. I'll give him a plug because he's a good guy, and actors can sign up for a minimal amount per month, and then we get cards, and it's more easy to digest than, of course, I don't want your postcards anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't prefer you email me because I don't know what to do with it. I don't, unless I'm in the middle of a job and I know, and I need you and your look and your acting abilities, then I don't know. I don't have a filing system for you. I can't do it.
No, that
That's
makes
why I
sense.
use the programs, because the programs are going to help me. So make sure you're in the programs. But yeah, reaching out to me every day, 100 is a minimum of messages, emails, contact points to me on social, anywhere you go. And I say this constantly, don't call me. And it happens every single day. How can I get in touch with you? How can I be in one of your auditions? It's like all I say, please follow me on socials, follow Casting Confidential, follow all my panelists on socials, follow the podcast, listen to us. Take the time, the hours. I mean, we have 50 episodes up now, and we're going into some
that's such great info.
Yeah, take the time and listen to it, as opposed to saying, how can I get started? I'm in India. God bless you. I want you to succeed. But, you know, reaching out to me in that way, there's nothing I can do with it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then our different philosophy on that is, I always say, I don't mind if people email, I don't mind if people are in touch, but this the reality of the turnaround, that it's not that even if you do email and add me to your newsletter, if the subject line's cool, you know, I may click on those on some in between downtime, but we're often so pressed for time that casting directors, I had a friend who is a retired nurse say, I feel like you're always in triage. And it's true. As casting directors, we're in triage because we have to go to the next most important things. So if you're just an actor who's sending it in and your health is perfect and you don't fit the specs of somebody who needs to be on, you know, on the gurney that day, then unfortunately you are over in the corner. So I'm happy for you to send it and happy to go through, but there can be no guarantees that I can email back. But again, I have had it happen before. We were searching for something. I had one of the assistants in the general casting email box, and somebody had, so note to actors, have your picture in your email, have it as part of your signature.
In the signature. That's a smart idea.
It was perfect for this totally unrelated project. He was sending it in for the series we were working on at the time, but we were also working on an independent film, and the assistant saw his pictures like, oh my gosh, he's great for this other job. So it happened to come in, and it does work. That's why I say don't not do it, because that was a little lightning in a bottle moment. It's just, you can't assume that you can email and we can always respond because we're just busy. Or as Rose said, that you can still see the email come in, but if there's no place to categorize it at that time, it's simply just days to
another email. Yeah.
So,
and my God, don't send 50, you know, YouTube links, Vimeo. I can't. No. And I'm not clicking on a link from somebody I don't know. That seems crazy.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
So it's just, unfortunately, it is very difficult. And the nature of the situation is that perhaps is the one downside of technology, that before, because everything was so regional and that you had a relationship with the person who was in your 50-mile radius, 100-mile radius, that you could send a postcard. And we did keep track of people that were in our area because we were kind of the master of that domain. And now the playing field has been leveled that we can work anywhere at any time and curate actors from all over.
Right.
So
yes,
you need
But that being said, definitely invite casting directors to
yes,
local theater events that you're doing. Anything you can, comp out some tickets. Say, tell me what date you want to come. Here's the run. We love that. Love to see actors in the wild.
In the wild. I love that.
Also, wait, one more thing. Please follow people when you message them.
Yeah.
I bet you get this all the time too. It's like, wait, you're asking me a specific question. You're not following me. What's going on here?
Yeah, I think that invite question, just to go back to that invite to live theater, love those invitations. And being in the DC area, I do get to Philadelphia for theater. I get to New York for theater. So I'm happy to receive all of those showcase invites also as well from universities. So if any university is listening, get who's ever in charge of that. A number of them are virtual now. Get casting directors on your list that you're sending them out to, so they're seeing you the minute you start on your acting.
Yeah. And Film Fest, if we haven't been there and you want to invite us, we'll come.
That's a great way, I think, to really get out there. I usually don't do even any of these contest things, and I just did that one in Orlando, the Orlando Independent Film. We had Yeah, Love at the Diner was there. And it was so fun. And it was just really cool to see, local stuff going on. But I would think that would be a good place, right? Especially if you're new and like, why not?
I think it's the greatest thing. If you're an actor, show up to film festivals, even if your film's not there. Go to the local one.
You'll meet a writer, meet the director. You'll meet people who will be writing you into things before you know it.
Yeah, I just told someone that last week. I was like, do you know this? Go. There's tons of people. These are the people you want to meet. Go talk to people.
They really are.
Yeah. So tell me about your podcast. How did it start? You kind of mentioned it happened through the app.
It did happen through Clubhouse. That's how we met. And then Clubhouse kind of went weird. And so we pulled it out to Zoom and with a live audience. And then we said, well, we might as well just make this podcast. And, got a good team. And here we are. We did season 1 and season 2 I'd like to say the basics, right? Like we're covering each episode. You could listen to independently. You don't have to listen to them in a row, but they cover different topics. I like to, really theme them out, and we go deep on the topics and have 6 casting directors talking about their opinions and their viewpoint, just like you see with Kimberly and I today, of how we think in each topic. So they're very worthwhile. Like I said, 50 episodes. They're all up wherever you get your podcast. Please rate, and review. And
I always forget to say that too. I always forget.
Rate, and review. And coffee with Karina on top of it all.
Yes, I was just about exactly. Do the as listeners. I hope you guys are hitting follow, hitting 5 stars. Nice. You hear the biggest people in podcasting asking this all the time. So apparently it's important, and it's free. So if you like this, hit 5 stars. That's the thing. Make a review. Why not? It takes 2 seconds. Anyway, but so we got on all the things, and so in that's season 1 and 2, and season 3 we're leveling up. We're getting more celebrities in. We've already had Lamorne Morris. We had Connor Ratliff, and and Vicky Thomas. I think she's a star because she's like the best casting director. She's an icon for me. And of course Lucy Lennox. But we've had great guests. But now we're gonna level that up, do guests each show, and a great ending that I'm not going to give away today. But it is worth waiting for the ending. And we're going to do some raffles on Instagram before we drop season 3. And actors, you're going to want to stay tuned to all that. It's going to be really exciting.
Okay. I can't wait to see that.
I sound like a car salesman, don't
Tell me. I'm sold, Rose. No, I've listened to it. And I think I'd actually listened to it before we met a couple of years ago. I was like, I know this. This sounds familiar. And I remember thinking it was very good, but it was also very informative. Just picking up things that I didn't know about and just being like, wow. Even after being in the industry for a while, I think there's something to learn from every person that you have on. That's the thing, right?
That is the thing.
Always have the interesting tidbits, but it's entertaining too. So
that's why you do your podcast.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, that's why.
I mean, stories are entertaining, knowledge is entertaining, and the combination is fire. I think it's great. I think what we do is good for the community and entertaining. I think it's both.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'm going to ask you guys a question. I've started doing this just because it is Coffee with Karina. So how do you make your coffee? Or are you a coffee drinker? People want to know this apparently. So
I love it.
Love this question. Yeah. Take it away, Rose. I'll let you go first.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that. I just drink mine as strong as possible. I do like Lavazza. It's an Italian coffee. And I like it with almond milk, a copious amount of almond milk, but that's it. Kind of simple and usually warm.
Yeah. How about you, Kimberly?
Yeah. And much like everything I do, it's a little bit of a mood situation. So
it changes.
However, I'm a French press gal, love French press because you get that robust flavor and with still the wonderful oils. I love to do my own French roast, Italian roast blend of beans.
Wow.
And
I'm impressed. Okay, keep it coming.
specifically. And love my frother. Also will travel with my frother if I go on location.
I do too. You travel with yours? Oh my gosh.
Frother.
I am. Okay.
And love to do a combination of various different, could be a coconut almond creamer with, a little bit of extra almond so that it's, because the flavored ones have too much flavor, or just basic straight frothed. It has to be a certain color. So it depends on whatever that milk accent is, that I like it to be a very specific caramel color also. Love my coffee.
This is the greatest question. Who knew?
Well, I traveled when I was in my 20s and fortunately got to be in Europe when I was traveling for school and then traveling and up with people. And so having European coffee when you're in your 20s, that was definitely a departure from American coffee. So yes, been a coffee fan for a long, long time.
Oh, amazing. All right. I love that.
And sometimes black, depending, but like Rose, love it strong. And we'll occasionally do black coffee because just to taste that robust flavor.
So you really do all the difference. That's
all different.
I always do, has to be vanilla cappuccino with either almond, or sometimes I'll do like an oat milk too. But I always travel with my frother. If I don't have the frother, I'm like miserable.
Yeah, so
Happy every day if I don't have that.
I'm going to have to travel with my frother.
You got to bring your frother.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if yours is the little one, Karina, that's battery operated, but it's like the frother. Like
I have mine is like a cup that goes on like a thing.
Yes, exactly. Same here. Yeah, you get to stir with the lid, and
so it's not like a little thing. So I'm like traveling around. It's okay if I drive.
Why don't you have a little battery operated one? It's
I mean, you could, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Oh my god!
It froths it a little, but it doesn't froth it and form it like the.
I love this dedication.
Yes.
Listeners should know when Kimberly shows up to my house for a few days, there's copious amounts of, I'm a mood dresser and
mood coffee drinker.
So it's literally the same thing I'm just mentioning.
Yeah, which I did. I like.
Which is good to have a theme.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, and I love fashion too. So yeah, why not? Why not have fun with it, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. This was pretty painless, right?
I loved it.
Fabulous. So fun.
All right. And hopefully I'll see you guys Friday. If not, we'll have to catch up soon. But good luck with the workshop.
Thank you. You'll see clips up on social.
Coffee with Karina. Remember, rate 5 stars.
Rate 5 stars and review.
And also the same with Casting Confidential. Tune in. Lots of
all of that.
Tips and tricks for enjoying the industry.
That's
exactly.
It. Yes. CastingConfidential.com. We have it all. So does Karina.
Have it all.
All right. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you too.
Yes, take care. Until next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Karina. Thanks so much for listening. If you like what you hear, check out some of our other episodes and give us a rating. In the meantime, stay safe, and we hope to see you back here soon.